Good afternoon, morning, evening, or good night, everybody. As we welcome you back to the Get Good NA side of things. You saw the EU earlier with the fine folks over there, but now you're over here in NA. I am Bemi. Along with me is my astute culinaric, a brilliant chef mastermind, Chef Billy. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing well, Femi. I'm doing well. I'm very excited to see the NA side of things today. I'm a big fan of the show, anyways. I'm watching the EU performances today. I hope that we get the same kind of output from the North American teams today.
Well, as I've learned in an AW Mouse 1 is the technique in a lot of scenarios. So let's see what we have cooking up. So, Chef Billy, why don't you talk about these teams a little bit? Because we had some very interesting discussions about this.
Yeah, I mean, we've got we showed up coming in on 4-1. And they looked like they are going to be running some kind of a variant of death ball. They've got 7 people on their roster, and as we were looking through and kind of trying to decide what they're going to do to win the match tonight, you got to really look at the support section. Depending on what Congri is going to run tonight, looking at you know he's got Lucio and Brig listed in his favorite characters to play. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking to see where the supports come from to keep the tanks up.
That is very true. That is sort of the unsung heroes. But on the other side as well, for birds, they are 4-1 as well. We're looking at birds, Billy. We have they have listed that they have specialists, but none of them have specialists in the roster playing right now. Why do you think that, Billy?
I think they're going to test the waters, get your feet wet first. And I mean, really looking at what their specialists are, Diva, Doom, and Zen. I mean, on some maps of Lijiang, it's good. But I think that what they have as far as their core roster, I want to see, once again, the support. We're looking at Lucio Ana there, with Astro being on the flex role there of the healers. We could see the BAP come in. We could see any kind of, really just I just feel like the supports are going to dictate the play today, depending on how they keep the tanks up and how aggressive they allow them to actually be.
That is true. There is a sense of with the bat, it does allow the tanks to sort of just keep on fighting for a very, very long time. Whereas with also the idea of the brig as well, you can just stun people all the live long day and just allow your tanks to be aggressive in that retrospect by being aggressive with them. So I suppose it comes down going into Lijiang Tower. Do you think the healers are going to be map dependent, or are we going to see a lot of consistency?
I think that it is going to be map dependent. Looking at a Lucio Brig on Control Center, especially if you're going to run a very brawly comp against one another, you're going to need that Inspire healing. You're going to need the AOE healing that's coming from a Brigitte Lucio lineup. I think Ana, can be thrown into the mix either on Gardens or Nightmare. Night market, with the anti-nades, also with the sleep, depending on if we do see any kind of a gravitant surge. I mean, if you're looking, at any kind of a hit send character coming into it, the sleeps and antis are going to be huge coming from the Anas, which both teams say they do like to run.
Agree. And I think it may just come down to what the also maybe the end goal of the teams, because there's two priorities that you can come up with the teams, which is you're either trying to win the team fight and then take the point, or try to set up on point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the aggression and the speed, once again, if we see the Lucios coming in, the speed that's going to be able to come in from that, is going to dictate, if you have a shield, and you made this point earlier, if you have a shield, there's no point in having double shields if you can just run right past them and ingress onto them.
So we'll have to wait and see what we choose. I think it is. I think you're right. I think they are going to be testing water. So Deathball looking very prominent here, and I'm seeing some Lucios with a little bit of the mix-up of the secondary healer.
Yeah, liking the Bap Lucio here. This is going to be absolutely fantastic coming from Astronaut and Sleep. But Kangri and Goopy looking like the Ana Lucio is going to be the flavor of the day for the birds here. Looking at Just, bringing out the Death Ball. I mean, and Speedy bringing out the Symmetra. They're going to be able to aggress on the point extremely fast.
That is very true. We'll see. It looks like they are going to commit to the Symmetra. This does allow them to set them a point a lot more quickly, and obviously you want to do that if you have an Orisa, but if both share the same idea, that's going to be a little bit of trouble unless you have an amazing Ana with a brilliant anti-nades going right in there, and Ori off of that, they're going to ram it right down. So unfortunately, a brilliant anti-nade will just shut down the dreams for birds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we showed up, got onto the point first, and I mean, they just used that brilliant anti-nade from Kongri there, and really just stopped any kind of support and focus coming from them. And it's back to the drawing board. But you still have the ability to use the teleporter in maybe a much more creative way, rather than going into that top window. Maybe aggressing behind and coming up behind from them and landing a very nice anti-nade if Kongri can deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have to dry push for a little bit. Look at that. Seta has the Earth Shatter ready. Just one Fire Strike, and they're ready to kaboom! As they get everybody right now, and they are going to run them down with Autocon just shooting left and right. Brilliant stuff coming in there.
Yeah, that's a fatty shatty if I ever saw one. And man, what nice aggression coming in there from them, and just the one ultimate. I mean, the ultimate economy is also going to have to be something that we're looking at from the side of birds, because they are going to have to stack ultimates to deal with what they are running into right now. I mean, Kongri right now is an ace on this Ana.
Absolutely. I mean, Kongri has been just basically sort of an unsung hero right now, but that's kind of like how Ana is as the hero in the lore. As we see them pushing on through, again, there is no ultimates, and the fights have been going so quickly that they can't charge up ultimates, so they are just eating so much damage right now and just sort of staying on top here. We showed up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that photon barrier coming out of Speedy right there, denied really all the damage coming out of Astronaut's amplification matrix. That was just fantastic work from there. Star Chicken does have Shatter online though for the bird, so he may be able to get in there and get a little aggressive and maybe lay some people down.
Could be. Star Chicken does have that Shatter, and they do have a... Oh, they got a couple. They're dropping the Blizzard. The Shatter Blizzard is a good combo, but not if you get Anti. Again, like you said, Philly, the recipe for disasters right there. Kangri's just going to knock them all down.
Oh my goodness, and Speedy on the Symmetra right now, probably a level 3 charge on that microwave beam, and just zapping people in there with the exploding hot dog, as I call it, when the Ryan Shield goes down. Graf wasn't even the Grafton Surge wasn't even really necessary, but the PM coming out of it was absolutely fantastic. So let's talk about what we just saw.
Yes,
I mean,
please.
Man, Kongri on this Ana right now, showing up and showing out, throwing the antis and the sleeps in. Got a couple of very providential sleeps in the middle of that last team fight. So I think right now, +1 to Kongri for your constitution and keeping your team up through all of that. Looking at the other side, though, looks like they're going to keep with the Symmetra. Verity is going to keep with the Symmetra, maybe to aggress on the point faster. Using the speed of sleep on the Lucio also, they may be able to get point presence before We Showed Up ever has a chance.
Well, we'll see if they're committing to it. They are going to swap over to that Reaper. They just want to get out of the gate a little bit more faster, establish mid-aggression, and here we go. Doomfist, it's an interesting choice. It is just going to be absolutely shut down. When you run into the May, it is going to be a bit of a trouble. But I mean, that is sometimes confidence getting the best of you. However, Kangri does get it out of the way. I don't think it was a major anti-nade, but they did manage to stabilize everybody, and they managed to hold it down. Even though they lost their main take, it looks like a fair fight going in their favor still.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and Kangri got a nasty sleep onto Verity. Then he was deleted, sent back to spawn. And I mean, even losing the main tank, they still had the coordination to stay together and push onto valuable targets. And, they claimed the point once again. That's some really awesome coordination from the side from We Showed Up.
Agreed. Some serious shot calling right there. And here we go. The infamous protect the choke to build up percentages forever and a day. And Seta's again close to the Surge Shatter. So what do you do here if you are birds?
Birds is going to have to doing exactly what they need to do. They need to path around and kind of change the eye level of We Showed Up. Here comes Graviton Surge being thrown into the mix then.
It does get thrown into the mix. However, Seta does charge right in there, throws himself into the mix and wipes it out. And that's only one ultimate used. That was just the grab. Look at that ult economy for We Showed Up.
mean, that is huge for we showed up, and they did that going into Astronauts amplification matrix, and they still team wiped them there. That is a fantastic amount of sustain coming from we showed up.
It's also a lot saying about Seajust as well. They allowed Setsa to go in there unharmed with a massive bubble coming in. Here we go. It is going to be Earthshatter coming in. Desperation coming out as they get walled up from the rest of their team. Zeta, it looks like Birds. They might be able to finally. Wait, no, Autocon! Oh my gosh, you're able to keep the Reaper alive in the Beyblade of Death. And again, it's just a mastermind of trickery as Autocon comes around and blossoms out everybody.
That is a bloody 5K on the trot in the middle of a blizzard. And I mean, what do you do against that? What you do is you try to path around and go again. But man, really, all they have to go into this, you can aggress with the sound barrier, get on the point, get that little extra bit of healing, and then hopefully Verity can get a flank angle and drop a Deadeye and do something to stop this steam train right now. That is, we showed up.
Well, we showed up right now, living up to their names. And Kangry, you can't sleep on him, because if you do, you're dead. Deadeye comes out, does manage to get Kangry, but it's just not enough, I'm afraid. It's only the Orisa left on the point, and there's going to be two 0 to 100s coming in from We Showed Up. Birds are going to have to go back to the drawing board in the next map.
Oh my goodness, that was fast as you like, Bemmy. And I mean,
Yeah.
the support core, the support core coming from We Showed Up right now was absolutely filthy. The sleeps, the antis, and man, that's what you like to see from your support core. I hit on it in the beginning that I think that the support cores for both teams is what's going to make the difference between these two squads. And right now, Kangry and Goopy are absolutely just dominating in the back line.
Nutters, absolute nutters. We saw some serious anti-nades. Oh my gosh, that was so cool to see. Really not, it's a breath of fresh air sometimes just to see the team work together efficiently. I'm sure Birds have got something, but they were never really allowed a moment to catch their breath.
No, not at all. I mean, even with the immortality barriers that were being thrown out by Astro, there was always an anti-nade into that. So I mean, it basically negates everything right there. And I mean, how the heck do you get the Death Blossom going into the middle of a blizzard and keeping him up that long? That is just absolute nutty play.
It is absolutely. It's more than just two birds with one stone. It's quite literally the entire team. But with that being said, we have some serious plot twists as well. We are not going to Rialto. We saw if you when we looked at the player sheets, Chef Billy, we saw that it was Rialto for both of them. They really loved it. But we are going to see the counter pick from Birds into Junkertown. So what is the play here?
Well, I mean, looking at what they brought in Kidney, which is one of the specialists for the side from Birds, and they've got
Okay.
three specialists come in, and I mean, looking at Diva, I'm not sure what role other than maybe the self-destruct coming into it. You may be trying to play, a little bit of a EMP bomb, depending on if Verity or Sumint decide to go over to the hacker. But I mean, that would be a win condition right now. Just me trying to throw out ideas of what they're going to try and do here. But man, if we showed up, you are going to run the same bloody comp right now because I mean, why fix it if it ain't broke?
That's very true. However, that is a very good point. If they're setting up for an EMP self destruct sequence, you're not going to be able to Wraith with the Reaper, and you're certainly not going to be able to go into cryostasis with the May. And some other things will be, denied. You'll have to have, a lot of spy checking really reliant. So we'll see what happens here. We're gonna have Kidney subbing in for Star Trek, and so it does feel like this is going to be the play here for them for Birds to go for this Diva. On top of that, on attack, the mobility of a tank is pretty good when you get to leave the point and come back very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it also changes the elevation of the eyes of the defense or the attackers. Going from high to low. That is something that drives me as a main tank player myself nuts because I'm not sure should I shield high, should I shield low, and the mobility of a diva getting into the back line, being able to get in and get out, almost like a Doomfist
Yeah.
style of play. I mean, that could be absolutely crucial into disrupting what we showed up as doing right now.
Oh, and also eat a grab. Of course, most obvious thing, eating ultimates. You saw a May, You can eat the blizzard. You saw a grab, you could eat that too. It does allow a little bit of that extra bit of hope. You just got to commit to being aggressive. But we'll see what happens because also in Junkertown, it's how we talked about Lee Jong being map dependent on some things with composition. It's kind of like that with Junkertown, with just how different each phase of the push is.
I mean, you could absolutely have 3 different metas, going into each phase of the map. I mean, long sight lines on the first, part of Junkertown, you could actually run, either a damage boosted Ash, on high, or you could get a Widow into a very nice little, sniper spot and, take people out from spawn. It just depends on what kind of shielding and what kind of awareness that the attackers coming out of spawn are gonna have. Are they gonna do the traditional coming out, or are they going to go path around the right side, or are they going to come up and then swoop down on the point and start the progress?
It's all just a matter of knowing what happens in a very few seconds. So going into this, we are about to see what the defense is going to be brewing up for Birds. So Chef Billy, what's on the menu today for Junkertown?
I think that we're going to have a, steady diet of spam damage coming from the defense. I think running a junk rat here is not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe to try and take care of some of the shielding, especially since you're running a singular shield from we showed up. They showed the one shield and did just fine going against the double shielding of a bird. So maybe getting the shield down, maybe burning through Just's bubbles may be part of the answer here for them.
Could be, but I'm looking at these DPSs and I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit as to seeing what the value is. Like, of course, every hero has their value, but what is the value coming in here playing these heroes with these tanks and healers?
I mean, for the side of birds, I mean, Verity listening to my awesome advice and going forth with the Widowmaker, maybe trying to get a quick pick coming out of spawn. But Sument, using the sticky bombs to burn down the shielding, looks like maybe a little halt rock
Ooh.
combo abilities coming out of Gaz and Kidney.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I like the idea of Zoom, and definitely it's kind of like that little bit of Storm Arrow mentality. And already off the bat, they lose both tanks, so Suman's showing up here in major, major ground.
I mean, already 50% towards the duplicate. They're going to have their choice of what they want to use this on. Man, you're going to have to do something to check the eyes right now of the sky. We kind of got a little bit debated with the kidney pick coming in here onto the Orisa instead of the Diva on the defense. So, I mean, double shielding is the flavor of the day for the defense. But Just and Sita, they're going to go ahead and mirror that. And, Goopy on the Zen, the Discord Orb is going to have to be laying onto Sument at a pretty steady clip. Otherwise, she's just going to dominate the skies right now.
Yeah, that is very true. The payload can only heal you so much. Goofy going down though, this looks like already the team is establishing such an meanwhile, while we've been talking all about this, Astronaut's been building up their windows, so of course they're just gonna have enough damage right then and there, Chef Billy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, using the amplification matrix right out of the gate, Sument now has that duplicate online and ready to go. So, I'm looking at, coming out with this duplicate. I would go with the Sigma and try and get a fast gravitic flux out of it. If you go double gravitic flux, you're pretty much guaranteed to win a team fight there.
Oh yeah, you are literally lifting and slamming them to the ground over and over again. And there they go. They go for that Sigma pick. Can they live long enough to get it? Looks like they will be able to do it. Also finds a couple of the supports, finds the Widow as well, but no picks. Able to sterilize. So close to Goofy going down, but it's going to be the other teammates as there's already going to be a bunch of damage. Dragonblade coming out from the other side. Autocon though, can they do it again? For we showed up and push it on through. Manages to get both supports, and this looks like they could potentially push it through, but they need to be careful. They're hugging the payload, making sure they're staying alive, discording whoever they can find. Kidney drops the supercharger, but it's not going to find much value if nobody's around, and they're going to take it out. Perfect come around coming in from We Showed Up again.
Man, what an awesome blade. And then taking care of the flank for We Showed Up, going against a supercharged Kidney. And, taking out the supercharger, taking out the support into it. And man, that was a fantastic play.
Was beautiful, and we are going to catch a little bit of a breath right here because we do have, I think, a DC happening at the moment. But when we do get back into the game, we will be able to show you even more action. But all right, let's talk about coming back around from that, because you said a very astute thing, which is that once Sument got the double duplicate, they could have gone for double, gravitic flux slam, and that would have definitely taken care of it. But I mean, how do you just turn that around and just initiate your own pressure? Do you just sort of go like commit? Like, what? How do you commit to it?
The shielding was the first thing that was most important that came into that. Looking at Sita on this Orisa right now, the shielding and the ability to fortify and then be able to take out targets individually, that was one of the first things that was able to be done. Also, the Discord Orb immediately went on to Sument when they duplicated. And I mean, they did get one Gravitic Flux out of it, but they were slept out of actually getting the lift and pull down. So looking at that, that was the first thing. Almost got a second duplicate, but then the pressure and the healing coming in once again, Kangri on this Ana being able to not only sleep but throw anti-nades and getting the biotic healing from it for her own team. That really kept the sustain up. And then Goopy, once again, the Orb of Harmony doesn't do a lot of healing, but it will keep somebody up if they're very close to death, and staying close to that payload like they did actually kept them all up. So that was a fantastic series of events, the play and counterplay coming from Birds. And then also we showed up, I think we showed up, played that perfectly.
It all comes together. But we are going to come together again after a quick break, because it is taking a little bit long to get the player back in. But don't worry, we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. We'll be having more Junkertown action for you in just a moment. Like I said, we are back into the action of Junkertown. This time in the street fades, and as I'm remembering correctly, it does not take away as the correct way of saying Australian takeout. But whatever, because it doesn't matter. You're dead, Speedy, with a beautiful headshot. Kidney all by themselves, unfortunately. Just, it's not easy for an Orisa to rotate. You think you have 4 legs, you're going to be able to be all over the place. Not the case. However, still a little back and forth, but no real contesting. They are just pushing this cart. They're too afraid. And we showed up barely just contesting, but it's going to be almost all for naught. They have allowed the We show up to set up here a brilliant transcendence, but how long will allow you to last? Not with an Anthony. Yes, exactly right there. The Kangri already dropped that nade, and we have a healthy time base for the 3rd point, Billy. This is really rough for us.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Kangri, even with the Transcendence, once you throw an anti-nade into that Flux, it's pretty much a good night, have a nice day, go back to spawn. And, I think that I probably would have held on to the Transcendence in the middle of that Flux, because you have to think that right now, the play being shown by Kangri right now, you have to think that nade is on cooldown anytime that they try to push any kind of assistance into it. Also, looking at what C-Just is doing right now, he's throwing his shield behind the Orisa from Kidney and denying the healing coming into them. So right now, this is what they're doing, is they're just basically denying the healing resources coming in. That is a 3-man play.
Yeah, that was yeah. While we were astutely remarking upon that, that is going to be the swap. Again, it just feels like so much disengaging is coming in here from the side of Birds. They look afraid. They're trying to go in, when they're trying to take the fight. Swapping to Tracer, a lot of mobility coming now with this composition. Does manage to stabilize and get the healers. They will be able to win this fight out with a brilliant swap onto the Tracer. I love the idea from Birds, but oh my gosh, they have a lot of time to work on.
310 and the time make it, and they got it within 275 of completing point C here. So looks like Sita has gone off the Orisa now and then onto the Reinhardt, and I mean, that's a beautiful transition switch for me. I think that they were really doing good with the halts, but I think they need to have that extra little bit of mobile shielding. Coming into the defense though, Kidney has Supercharger available and the Pulse Bomb already online for Sument. That's a quick gain of that very fantastic ultimate. So we're gonna look and see, how do they aggress in here? Supercharger obviously needs to be held until a very opportune moment.
Well, yeah, that is very true. But they are going to just drop it now. Transcendence coming out as well, coming in from Goopy. They must have a plan because they are going in aggressively with the Transcendence, which is not normally what you say. But, I mean, at the moment, though, it seems like to be a big distracting light as Speedy will pop 2 heads and the rest will come through. Pulse Bomb comes out, does manage to get Kangry. That's actually pretty big because the Nano Boost was around the corner. Might have been nice for that Reinhardt, but we'll see. I mean, both healers are down. They might have just been able to pull it by the seam of their pants, but Autocon with the blade gets 2, and this might be finally it. Astronaut will be the 3rd one to potentially go down. No, they managed to get Autocon before the blade could even get a chance, but it might be it overall. They are doing their best to stabilize. It is a very fast comp, but it's not enough damage. That's the problem. It's mobility exchange for damage. The Earth Shudder will come out. This should be the final nail in the coffin to finally get it within time bank. They're doing a great job, though, here. They're really pulling it through. They're fighting back and forth. But, I mean, at the moment, though, Birds, they're just burning time off the time bank at the end of the day. And it's a good goal to have, but it is going to be it. That is, we showed up, pushing it to the final point.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a great amount of stall, though. I mean, they actually took about a minute off the clock there, so kudos to them for getting that time bank down to 109. But still, if you're looking at the run of play right now, both from Lijiang Tower and into the first point here, the big thing that Birds are going to have to do, they're going to have to get aggressive. They're going to have to get behind the shielding and get into that healer core, because that was a big thing that Sument did, swapping over to that Tracer, basically ignoring the front line, the tanks, and getting into Kangri. Kangri dropping 3 times in that final little sequence of events, even with the anti-nades going out. So I think they may have unlocked a special achievement here of Kill Kangri. And, you know, that is the #1 thing that they're going to have to contend with, is Kangri on this Ana right now.
Yeah, it is a huge threat, and I'm glad they've read into that. So good on the Birds for doing it. You know, it may have taken a while and quite a bit of time, but you know they're here. We're here now, and this is the present time where we now learn that Kangri is really good on the Ana. So here we go. With that information in mind, I'm curious about how they'll handle this push, but I'm also curious. Otacon committing to this Genji did start getting denied later on, so why the Genji still?
I'm not sure. I think maybe the ability to get in and out. And I mean, you know, Nanoblade is always going to be something that's so hard to vent against. But Astronaut does have a good counter in that with the Immortality Barrier, also Sleep being able to bash out of that. So that is what I'm looking at is, you know, the supports are going to have to keep Otacon in check. Otherwise, it's going to be a very slow day for them.
Could be. I mean, definitely a good big flanking, deflect, deny some damage. We'll see how it is, though. I don't know how much value you can get with this, but already off the bat, Goopy dropping Immortality Field. Interesting call here. I wonder why. This is definitely not a place you want to hold for a very long time. I mean, if you win the fight, that's nice and all, but the spawn's right outside the door. And there we go, Otacon being the first one to go down. They haven't lost anybody yet, but they're not really gaining any value from having this fight happen here.
I don't know. I think they may be trying to, you know, deny the push for as long as they can, because I think they will have a second stand here.
I mean, they take a little bit of a stance with this. They did finally disengage, and I was curious they denied also the rally from Slaves. Why did they do it? Oh my gosh, this is a disaster. Seta just turned this around.
I mean, that was just a brilliant one-off play there. Kangri investing the nano boost into Seta there. And, I mean, the dividends were paid in full. Sleep popping the rally at a very inopportune time. And the waste of the rally right there, that's going to be something that's going to stall this push out for them.
It is. And also on top of this, here goes the duplicate. Can they get the double slam like they were trying to go for again? They go for the first one. Actually, no, that's not theirs. That's CJ's. I misread that, and they're going to get absolutely obliterated. Here's the tag visor as well. And again, another miraculous hold comes from We Just Showed Up. Or We Showed Up, excuse me.
I mean, they're just showing up as a total squad there, you know, and looking at Speedy swapping off of the Widowmaker and going over to the Soldier for a little bit of hit scan help to take care of Sument in the sky. But let me tell you what, that anti-nade coming in from Kangri into the Flux once again, denying any kind of healing resources, and that spelled the end of the duplicate from Sument as well.
We can't get enough of it. It is just the perfect garnish to this ultimate team fight. It is going in. Forgive me, Billy. I'm just gonna have to do a million chef punch. You're here, buddy. I don't get this chance very often, but Autocon gets a million chances to pull up plays like this. Gets two, make it a third as well into that dash, and they again stabilize. I mean, this, Autocon is basically me relinquishing all my questions about this Genji on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Quebelle Supreme, as we say in French, that was so extremely beautiful. Looking at the coordination coming in from Kongri and Autocon, getting the Nano Blade into it, taking the Immortality Barrier out in the first swipe, and then just going to town on the unsuspecting heads of birds. Also, the Gravitic Clutch was thrown in there by Gaz as well.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. This is also something I've been noticing as well from birds. They just press Q when they feel like they find the opening. Oh my gosh, and speaking of openings as well, they do feel so much pain, and Seta finds an amazing barrier. Though that being said, they are rebelling against them. It's dropping the window as well. The Astronaut trying to see if they can find value, but there's no value because all the other teams are gone. Speedy is the last one remaining and will hold on to that ult. Says one last goodbye by taking a pick, and that is going to be it. A good push coming in from the birds finally.
Yeah, but it took them a lot of resources to get that through there. I mean, they invested Rally once again. They invested the amplification matrix into that. Good thing is that Sument does have duplicate online again, and I think that the split kind of push there from Taz and Kidney, kind of doing 45-degree angles and coming in at Sita. He didn't know which way to spin his shield, and C just being dropped early in the fight just made that so much more of an economical push for them.
It does. It really does. And you see also just the rotation of ultimates as well. So many times we've seen Burst just sort of drop it right away. And then very good patience. I mean, Speedy's been holding on to that ult after they lost the point. So now they get this value with the Tac Visor. Does manage to find the main tank. And now they have to fall back because there's not a lot of protection. Speaking of that, though, Suman does switch over to Reinhardt. Could get a shatter, turn it around if they feel like Seta's too aggressive, and they do like to press mouse 1 a lot, so we'll see what happens. But there it is! It's good they do it a lot because they know they have the opening. Here comes the blade as well from Autocon. Even though there's not a lot of people on the ground, they still find value. Verity going down. That was one of their big hopes of stopping this blade from doing damage. And here we go, it just caused a Band-Aid to open wide open and reopen the wound here.
Oh my goodness, what an amazing slam there about Shatter from Sita coming off the top rope and getting thrown into the flux. And he just went ahead and pressed Q and dropped so many people, and the disruption from that Shatter just took this attack phase from Birds and just turned it on its head.
It's really just absolutely fascinating. Here we go. And once again, we are going to see the ult fights coming out. Supercharger comes in. They have an ultimate. They have a stabilizing field, or excuse me, immortality field. Stay alive for as long as they can. Deadeye comes out. Verity can't find anything because they dropped their immortality field as well on the side of We Showed Up. Gonna give them a little bit of ground at the moment just to reset here, and I like this coming in from We Showed Up. But Birds not letting them breathe for a second.
Yeah, and I mean, this rotation, using the interior of the Streets phase here to be able to regroup and resettle and recontest the point. There goes the Nano Boost invested into Sita right now. He got bashed, but this is going to be absolutely huge if he can get a little bit more damage into this, because he's now built up to that next Earth Shatter.
Can't find value because there it is. That was Siege going down early. No protections for the rest of the players, while Seta went out and tried to be aggressive there.
Yeah, I mean, it may have been a little bit of a BM coming from him, kind of puffing that chest out, as all of us Reinhardt mains tend to do from time to time. Sometimes we're like, I've got Nano Boost, I'm going to be just fine, and then you go ahead and go back to spawn and take a quick nap.
Yeah, it's very Viking-like, just thinking you have Odin on your side, and then all of a sudden you just realize it's just a bit of caffeine inside you.
A bit of caffeine indeed, but Kaz getting a little bit aggressive using using the interior here of the point C here and building up to his next gravitic flux. So the ability for him to come into this is going to be something huge, depending on whether or not he gets slipped out of it, because Kangri has been landing some very big sleeps in the middle of this push.
Very true. However, here we go. It is not going to happen for a little bit, though, as we are not going to see Flux showed up as the ultimate Protect Visor comes out and sort of just ruins their day. Once again, they do manage to get the hold of this. And unfortunately for Birds, they don't have as much time as they would like to have this third point of this last phase.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 35 seconds in the time bank. You've got three ultimates online, and depending on how Cement decides to use this duplicate, I think that the Sigma would have to be the choice because he hasn't really gotten much value out of duplicating into Ryan. I haven't seen a shatter come out from him yet.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. We'll see what happens. I mean, they switch over to Genji. Maybe a blade will come in time, or just get hit by a rock in the face. As we are about to go in here, we're going to see them pushing on through. The blade will come out from the real one. Autocuz doesn't find value, though. They go down right away. Unfortunately, though, they have the spawn right on the door for the side of her. So even if they do win this fight, they still have to go through another basic slaughter. But I mean, at the moment, doesn't seem to be that case because we showed up. It seems like they're able to stabilize once and for all, and we are going to see a match point pretty much right away after this. Kidney does try to, buy them some time, and a Wrecking Ball will certainly do that, and I admire their indomitable spirit. But I feel like it's all for naught, especially with Widowmaker. That's just going to be a recipe for disaster. That's going to be it. Match point going over to We Showed Up.
I mean, once again, it's just the Congri show right now. Man, my goodness, looking at the anti-needs coming in. I mean, the healing that's being put out by Congri right now to keep her team up or keep their team up, and then the anti-needs is basically being solely used to go into the enemy back line. The tanks seem to be taking the brunt of it, even though I think that they're aiming for it back. So, I mean, you're gonna have to counter Congri right now. It is the Nano show starring Kangri.
You know what's even scarier about that is that we saw Genji and then Kangri was Ana. And while usually, what do we think about when we see Ana and Genji? Nanoblade, right?
Hmm.
Saw no nanoblades. It was pure Otacon going crazy and then stabilizing the team. Sometimes you don't need to go that full combo just to be threatening. Having information and doing a little bit of that splash damage with the anti-nade does a long distance of damage. So, that being said, Billy, Birds backs against the wall. Still a positive record after this, so there's not too much of a threat. But going into this, we saw Birds learn some lessons. But what else do they need to do to spread their wings through this match?
They're going to have to really focus Kangri right now. That is the linchpin to the entire team, doing so much in the way of not only enabling her team or their team to stay up, but also to get aggressive. Because when every time they go purple, you see Sita and you see C just go past the shields and just start swinging and throwing hyperspheres. So right now, Kangri is the linchpin. I think that Birds have got to do something, either hack. I think bringing a Sombra in, coming in, would be a big thing, to deny the ability used there. The sleeps,
Yeah.
Congri throwing sleeps in just when the pressure's starting to come into them. So that's the first thing. I also, the double shielding is going to have to be better. The rotation of shields right now, we showed up as burning through their shields so fast that they can't keep them up for long enough to do any kind of measurable defense for the DPS and the healing core of their team. So, it just seems to be a very coordinated attack and defense coming from We Showed Up. They just seem to know when to go forward. They'll pull back, and the ability, to just kite back a little bit and then come back as a full six. That's the other thing that's being really shown by We Showed Up is their ability to absorb and then redistribute the pressure coming into them.
It's very true. And on top of that, Birds, like you talked about with also, no, we're not gonna, I'm not trying to pinpoint any names here, but you did bring up the Sument pick with the Echo. Echo is a very fine hero, works very well in certain situations, and they were able to show up and help stabilize fights a lot of the time. But I think you were right in the way of saying, where's the value of the ultimate? Where are they going to get it? Is it going to be, the Sigma is nice, but is it enough to carry you through the finish line? Maybe there was a little bit more damage that they needed to produce. There is that sort of balance of like committing to heroes to, have ultimate value, to also getting this, getting this value of just countering the hero as well. So it's a very hard thing to balance. But speaking of which, Echo does work here a lot of the time here in Blizzard World on the maps. It's very exciting here. Blizzard World was not expecting this. Haven't seen this in 5 years. Billy, where are we expecting here? This is going to be a very interesting counter pick for birds.
I mean, boy, looking at it, Star Chicken has come back in. So we've got the original starting lineup coming in from Birds. So I'm really wondering, are they going to bring the Rhine Sig to the battlefield here? And on defense, man, they're going to have to really take care of what Otacon right now is doing, because Genji on defense, we kind of both questioned it on the defense, but yeah, we got shut up real quick.
Yes.
I mean, the deflect, not only the pure um, uh, offense coming out on the defense there, but the ability to deflect and the ability to create the harassment in the back line. Otacon is really facilitating that kind of two-pronged approach, with the antis coming in from Kangri, and then, Otacon getting in there, deflecting damage, and being able to do what Genjis do. So I think that's the biggest thing that we need to really look at, is, can Birds do something to disrupt Otacon and Kangri?
Yeah. Can you do anything to just counter the lineup? Because while I'm all for committing to plays, because committing to a play does help out. Sometimes it just, if you're committing to a play that you may know in the long run doesn't work, could be hard. And we did see Birds understanding the situation at hand. I think it might have been again that little bit of hesitation or scaredness to really try to shake up anything that they're not too familiar with, or trying to play around what they might be known for, like the Sombra. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, again, now you've kind of given this mentality to, we showed up that they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing is, you don't really have many one clip kill abilities right now showing from Birds. Everything that they have to do, other than when Verity brought out the Widowmaker, you don't have many one tap opportunities. And I think that, maybe punching, we showed up in the mouth with a Doom Fist, or hacking and then immediately assassinating said hack character may make we showed up, take a moment for pause and decide what's going on.
Give them respect at least. But here we go. Faraday. Speaking of one taps, on that Ash, it is a really awesome hero in Blizzard World. So many openings in the high ground to get the TNT value, get that Bob online as quick as they can. But here we go, pushing right through. Good old Death Ball with some aggressive DPSs from We Showed Up. As we see the Tracer going in, Kangri already getting the anti. Doesn't matter if you have an immortality field. Starting going down right away. Managed to get Kangri right away, so maybe there was a shot of hope there, but already one ticket's given up, and Verity, again, trying to stabilize. They're just having to back up and disengage. It's sort of a King's Row situation where you have to give up ground to try to see if you even win the fight here, but they do not, and there we go. We showed up with about 3 days to push this paper.
3 days. We did see a Blizzard World record be put up by Atlanta Reign. I'm wondering if we might match that here in the GitGud Championship. I mean, it won't necessarily count for the Owl records, but it'll be good for us.
Hey.
Big thing right now, Just getting so much charge on this Zarya Bemi, melting people out of the sky left and right.
Yeah, I mean, it is charged up. I mean, it's just a constant rate of damage, and, the bubbles have been super stellar on this. And again, just going in here, and we saw that, in the players' records of this team, we just showed up. Deathball is something that's just something, second nature to them. And look at this, they haven't had to drop any ultimate so far.
The aggression right now. That's what I want to point everybody's eye to. You don't have to ride the payload. Our Lord and Savior Jane has always said, you don't have to have 3 people on the cart. And, bringing out this absolutely filthy death ball from We Showed Up, and just getting into almost spawn here for them. The point has miraculously made its way here. There's an anti into the Graviton Surge again. My goodness. This is carnage.
It is, and I don't know what they're trying to do here. Sumed feels lost at the moment. Look at this, they're on the tour. I really don't know what the goal was here, and they've only had to drop the grab and maybe a pulse bomb, and They're well on their way, and Speedy's throttled another McCree. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you put the pulse bomb into the middle of that. Now Speedy's going to be able to spot check on either, the Torbjorn trying to get in and get a little bit aggressive. Bob could be stunned by the flashbang from Speedy. So much in the bank and so much aggression being showed by We Showed Up right now. This is absolutely filth.
Here we go. The Bob finally shows up, and it is gone already. Verity does not find much value with that. Meanwhile, Autocon on the other side manages to get 3 before they go down in the blink of an eye, and 5 minutes still to spare.
Yeah, they're in spawn. They are in bird spawn right now. They're showing zero
the nest.
respect. They are in the nest of the birds. Yes, we love it. When we see stuff like this, my goodness. I mean, Torb, I don't know if that's the right choice right now for a healer. Or for a, yes.
Yeah, well, I get the crowd control idea, but can you get the ultimate within time? You can't even stay alive long enough. There's the shatter array off the bat. Everybody is gone. CJust is at 115%. You didn't even know that was in the game, did you? It is, because CJust just showed us right there. And there we go, 4.5 minutes. This is bleak and looking like this could potentially very well be intermediate champions right here. I'm looking at it. I'm calling it right now, Billy.
I will go ahead and echo that call. He's over 9,000. Holy goodness. Getting a supercharge there. CJust laying waste with the particle cannon right there. So, win condition set. I mean, from what we've seen so right now, I think that unfortunately Birds might be a demoralized team right now, showing what we just saw there. 435 left in the time bank to get 3 points. I think that might be like 3 seconds faster than what the Atlanta Reign did it yesterday. So, I mean, there's a speed run. If you've ever seen it, somebody clip it and send it to Owl and let them see what they think about that. But still, I think that the demoralizing factor right now is just Kongri. Every time that they try to get the Birds try to get any kind of a push, there's an anti-nade just absolutely negating what they're trying to do. Yeah.
I'm just gonna catch my breath right now, Billy. This is just, that was very much a light speed kind of push that was so well coordinated and really nice to see. We finally, may I say, see Verity on this Sombra. Please, I have the belief you have it on your sheet that it's your favorite hero. Just have some fun, enjoy it, use it to your best of your ability. There's no real efficient way to spy check on the side of, We Showed Up because they haven't had the need to do that. Maybe the element of surprise applying. Get the hack onto the Zarya, deny that charge, do what you can. Already off the bat though, Star Chicken goes down, and this is not looking good for Burst. They have to fall back already as they will be sent back to the tap.
Yeah, the hack did come in onto Autocon there, but I mean, at what value? Cement is going to go down real fast here as he takes an anti-nade to the back of the head, and then a couple of shots from Baptiste's assault rifle there. Man, the spy checking could come from Autocon if he, decides to, do the throw the 3 shurikens out, kind of in a 180 pattern behind him and around him. Because I think that's going to be the play for Autocon is just check his 6 every now and again.
That's probably true, but they might be just hanging out near the front line because you don't really need to worry about a Sombra in the back line if you're already pushing up W Mouse 1 style up in their face, and there we go, Star Chicken going down. And the Astronaut, they have the Nano boost of no Ryan to meet with it. This is tough.
I think that the win condition right now, just to even get this first point here, Verity's going to have to get a massive EMP, and then, Astronaut maybe going into Sument to get that, to get the Death Blossom up online. Quaz right now close to the Graviton Surge, so you might be able to either press Q onto Star Chicken and let him swing away and see what value he can get out of it as well.
Great hope. I mean, can they live long enough to find value? That's a big question going around the bend. They're pretty self-aware of that. I mean, they are not surprised. They do manage to get the hack on the setup, which is great. The EMP comes out as well. That does get a lot of people. Great grab as well, and there we go. A little bit of love and TLC, and let the meat marinate for about 3 hours, and you are ding, all set and done to push the payload there, really.
Well, the oven timer did go off there, and I mean, but at what cost? I mean, it took three ultimates there: the EMP, the grab, and the nano boost going in. I mean, they almost stabilized through that. Did we showed up? So
Yeah, it's very true, but at this point, for Bird's sake, I'm just happy they show that they can win something in general. Like, this is, it was very well coordinated, it was clean, they held on to their ultimates. Those are things that we can see. We finally see the Nano Blade come out, by the way, and it is, oh my gosh, it's a monster under the bed you don't want to see. Close closets, I don't know. Just get it out of here. Autocon will be finally brought down by Cement, but I mean, it's not going to win them the fight.
no, absolutely not. You know, Sita went ahead and invested the Earth Shatter into the aftermath of Otacon speeding through with his Dragon Blade, and just basically stalling this aggression being shown by Birds right now. So you've got to look at rotations. Will Sument be able to get into a position where he can drop this Death Blossom?
Here comes the grab. It did get dropped, but and they got hacked, but they managed to drop it beforehand. And again, we've seen hybrids like this. This is the same situation as King's Row, where if you get held at choke, you lose a lot of time here if you're Birds.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the thing that has to be done right now is you have to change the level of where the defenders are meeting you at. You've got teleport ability with Sument. Why not use it? Get above them and then just drop in unsuspecting on top of their heads. That's the movement abilities have got to be used a little bit better because you can't just keep shoving it down the same route every single time.
Why not just go down the little corridor on the right, just change the direction a little bit. Deadeye comes out, Sument doesn't even get the value of the Death Blossom, gets shot right into hell. Oh my gosh, this is absolute carnage. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. They need to go into a different direction. They can't just keep going through the choke, and they have avenues that they can do it with. They don't even need a sim for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just you can go through the right hand side coming out of spawn and get behind them, get behind this little pillar down here, and then drop into them from there. You can get go to the left, get the high ground, which is what Goopy's doing right now. He's taking the high ground and just being unchecked up there and being able to heal from the top rope there.
Yeah, 100%. Along with that, also making it very easy for Speedy to feel really good at the high ground as well, if they want to just keep hanging out there and taking shots like they were earlier. And now we're in this world where a minute and 30 seconds is all Birds have left here, Billy.
It happened so fast. I mean, Verity's going to have to come up with a massive EMP, and really all they've got to go into it is the Shatter. I mean, Suman, he might be able to dash through and get some stuff up, but Goopy has a very uncanny ability to throw the immortality down.
There we go. EMP, Shatter came out, but the Blade will come out once finally as well. And again, it's the healers, the target prioritization from Autocon. Oh my goodness. There's never a time where the Blade didn't get at least 3 or 2.
I mean, that's a 4-pack, and that was what they seemed to be fearing was the Nano Blade as Kangri goes ahead and invests the Nano Boost into Otacon, and that's all she wrote. 40 seconds left for them to get to the end of point B here. Otherwise, it's going to be 3-0 sweep.
It is, and it's looking very like it. I mean, the ult economy is in the favor for the side of We Showed Up. They have the Deadeye ready as well. If they at least get one person, that's a 5v6. That's not what they want to be in if you're on Birds. Here we go. Nanobu's on to the Genji. Finally get the Blade midway, but the Deadeye! Oh, Speedy! Denying that value! Holy smokes! Press tier right away. Doesn't want to deal with any of your stuff. And there we go, 10 seconds remaining. It's down to Sleep to just stabilize just for a few seconds. Does touch it long enough that it does go into OT. But will they be able to touch in time? Sargent is their only hope. The whip will come down, and that's going to be it. Your 3-0 champion right there. We Showed Up, taking the 3-0 of the series and a 5-1 record. Wow.
I mean, Bemmy, that is what you call dominance right there. There is no if, ands, or buts about it. I want to know who beat them. That is my question.
Yeah,
who showed up?
Oh my gosh. There's always a bigger fish, Billy. There's always a bigger fish. Oh my gosh. I wish we were there for that series, because that must have been a hell of a series. But I mean, we got a hell of a series in a 3-0 fashion. So that was very, very good of them. Really efficient. Birds need to sum up that courage and, be confident a little bit more, I would say, because they looked like we saw a moment where they had great coordination. It was a grab into an EMP that wiped out and managed them to get the point. And that was the cleanest we saw from them, I feel. So I mean, overall, Birds look like a good team. They have a 4-win record. They just need to have that confidence going into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is all about confidence, and we showed up once they took Lijiang Tower. I think that they never looked back.
Yeah.
They didn't have to bring a substitute in, did they? They knew
No.
exactly what they wanted to do.
It was pretty cut and dry right there. Just absolute dominance 3-0 sweep, well coordinated. Didn't matter what map it was. But speaking of that, we are not done. We have another series coming up for you. It is also a good series within itself. We do have, if I look over here, the Midwest Caliber versus the Scuffed Shock. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after a break, and we will have the rookie division coming for you on the NA side of things. Don't go anywhere.